presenter, we leave Kenya, we are coming back to Mali. And she's a person I know very well. As I mentioned to you earlier, knowing well as to be also my partners and be my wife, and also be my advisor and supporters, and contributing quite a lot in Malifolkecenter developments, and a lot of things I've been doing in renewable the last 20 plus years we have been doing together. And she's coming from Finland, but also she's Malian. I'm talking to Johanna Togola, and she's a sociologist with 20 plus year experience working in Mali on climate change, renewable energy, women's and environment issues. Recent years have been mainly concentrating in environmental communication, education in Mali and also in other places. So I'm very pleased to, I think Stefan, this was something that you should be the one to introduce Johanna, but you've been giving me this hard task to introduce her. Okay, so Johanna.
You've done very well, very well.
Okay, Johanna, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today to present in this third World Community Power Conference. 2 years ago, we organized this conference here in Mali, and I was all the time so busy that I couldn't attend any of the presentations. So today it's been really nice to listen to everyone, and thank you for all the organizers and participants. It's been really, really interesting day. So I try to share my screen now. Okay. My presentation today is about grassroots experiences of women and community energy in Mali. So just first to give you some background numbers. So as you know, Africa is far behind the other continents when it comes to access to modern energy services. So electrification rate in Mali is a bit above 50% in urban areas and less than 20% in rural areas. So far, the most used energy source is still firewood, which is covering over 70% of the total energy consumption. When it comes to women and energy in Mali in general, so cooking, which is women's task here, is still done 90% by firewood and wood charcoal. And there is a little bit gas used in cities, but even people who have gas, they usually have also outside wood stove or charcoal stove to be used sometimes. Electricity is not used here for cooking at all. Also, other household work is practically done all manually, like cleaning grain, washing clothes, and cleaning. So we don't have, well, most people don't have washing machines or vacuum cleaners, even in cities. So then, what are the main advantages of access to electricity? Of course, lighting is probably the most important. Second comes access to communication, TV, radio, telephone, and internet. And then after that is probably the cooling. Many people, if they get access to electricity, they get fridges or freezers and the ventilators to their house. What is important also are all the possibilities for the new economic activities that the electricity brings. So whether it's urban or rural, but it's obvious that it opens plenty of possibilities. When it comes to women working in energy sector, so there are very few women engineers, technicians in Mali so far, but the number is increasing slowly. I will present 3 cases to you today from the really grassroots level in Mali. So the first case is rural women communities who are engaging in reduction of firewood consumption by fabrication of energy efficient stoves. So as I mentioned earlier, so cooking is done with firewood, and mostly typically it's done on the top of 3 stones. So you have 3 stones on the ground, and you put wood between, and the cooking is done there. And this is of course very energy consuming way to cook. So for decades already, there has been different models of clay stoves and also metallic stoves presented in rural and urban areas. Sometimes they've been well accepted. Sometimes, for some reasons, people don't appreciate them so much. But we have experiences. We've been working with some women in different rural areas, so training them to make these clay stoves. And the practice has shown that they are reducing 50% of wood consumption compared to the 3 stones system, which is of course a considerable reduction. And in all this area where we've been promoting these stoves, the women who have been trained have been training other women in their communities, so that finally the whole community, whole municipality has been covered by these stoves. And so far we have over 20,000 stoves built in this way. And this is of course bringing a remarkable positive chance in wood cover of those areas. It's really visible after, of course not immediately, but after 5 years, after 10 years, you can really see the difference. The second case with women and community power is the women cooperatives using modern energy services for developing of value chain products like shea butter. So we have very dynamic women's cooperatives in rural areas of Mali, but with the lack of energy, the possibilities are very few. So with the cooperatives we've been working with, we have one example who are producing shea butter. They have different combination of different modern energy services in their cooperative center. So they have solar panels for water pumping and lighting. They have also diesel engine for turning mill and other machines what is needed to produce the butter. And in addition of that, they have these improved clay stoves for cooking and boiling the shea oil. So in this way, they have all the needed energy to improve the quantity and quality of their production. And this way they are increasing the income of all the cooperative members and providing work also for hundreds of women in the area. Here are some more pictures of the shea butter production. There is a machine which is turning with diesel engine. Here the cooked oil is filtered, and finally the shea butter is ready and in pots. And this cooperative is selling the shea butter up to Japan and Europe. And this would not be possible if they wouldn't have the combination of these different energy services. My third case is about women entrepreneurship via the use of community energy services. As I said in the beginning, the rural areas don't have access to electricity. Only 20% of rural areas have electricity. But nowadays there are more and more mini grids installed in rural areas. Minicgrid is the best system in Mali conditions because we have big distances here. So having the centralized power system would be very uneconomical also. So, of course, most of the businesses which are arising after electricity access are for men, but still there are a lot of men, a lot of women also who create their own small businesses. These can include fridge and freezer for selling cold drinks, like this woman in the picture. They can also have cooling for keeping fresh food like fish and meat cold and selling it later. Women have tailor shops, and also very often they have restaurants and smaller shops which can be open much longer because of the lighting. All these economic activities, of course, increase the revenue of people and at the same time the quality of life. So as a conclusion, I've been listing here a few possibilities for women in the community power sector in Mali. Decentralized energy, as I said, is definitely best solution in Mali rural areas due to the distances. Unfortunately, we have very few women entrepreneurs in the modern energy sector. But the good news is that there are young women who are getting trained as engineers and technicians, especially in solar sector. And we, as Malifolkecenter, we have started recently training courses in renewable energy, short courses and longer courses, which are also directed to different type of people. There are people who don't have any previous education who can get training in how to maintain and install the small solar panels. And there are also longer courses for more complicated solar energy systems. So we are heading to women's quota, 40% of all the participants. We hope that that will be, we hope that we will succeed in that. So that will be already a big step for us and in Mali for women in community power sector. Another important possibility for women community power in Mali are the different women's cooperatives. So they can be transforming products like shea butter, or they can be also making market gardening. So it's very often that you have a big garden, several hectares for women, and they are doing the gardening there together. They are in cooperative, but they don't have access to water pumping or cooling or drying of the products. So access to all those services will naturally increase considerably the production capacity also. The biggest challenge there is the access to capital, because if they don't have access to capital, they cannot afford these different equipment. And the only possibility then is to have some NGOs or other funders to assist them. Okay, that was all. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Johanna. Thanks for these brilliant presentations. And